Welcome to ChessBase Magazine 172. The two top tournaments of this issue are the Candidates Tournament in Moscow, which was won by Sergei Karyakin, who now challenges world champion Magnus Carlsen. Congratulations to Sergei Karyakin. And the Norway Chess, which was won by world champion Magnus Carlsen. Furthermore, I want to mention that Hikaru Nakamura has sent one annotated game from the US Championship, and of course there are many more annotated games from many authors. Okay, and yeah, here for this video format I had to delete almost all commentary due to the space limitations. Sergei Karyakin has sent his victory from the last round against Fabiano Caruana, who had to win to qualify himself. And this was the decisive moment. White to move and win the qualification, the spot for the World Championship match. Rook takes d5. Otherwise it would not be so clear, and maybe black would be even slightly better. But now the king is open and there's no defense anymore. Queen d7 mate is threatened, and again white has too many threats and inroads, so that now Caruana resigned, and so Karyakin had won and earned the right to challenge world champion Magnus Carlsen. But he also lost one game against Vishy Anand, which Vishy has annotated himself, and it's a very instructive endgame with rooks and opposite colored bishops. And how to make progress here with white. Opposite colored bishops have nothing to do with a draw here, just pure opposite colored bishop endings without any further pieces. They have an extremely large drawish tendency, but with additional pieces, like here rooks, this changes and they favor this side with the attack, or initiative, which is clearly white here. b6, and then Vishy Anand uses the square c7 and creates a lot of dynamics in the following to break open inroads into Karyakin's position. Yeah, so a very instructive game. Study it in detail. There are 14 opening surveys and opening videos as well, but I especially want to mention videos by Caruana's second Rustem Kazimjanov, 2 Caruana games from the Candidates Tournament, and the endgame Caruana Svidler from the 13th round. 3 opening surveys I want to mention especially, one by Markus Reinke, who looks at the Sicilian wing gambit and managed to get a very good position against Matthias Röder in the German Oberliga North Rhine-Westphalia. Okay, if black accepts a gambit like this, it is really a bit risky, as white has a lot of advantage in development and pressure. Yeah. Basically, black has only developed the queen, and there are so many open roads, so it's not so surprising that this is dangerous. Maybe black, but black of course has other ways to deal with the wing gambit. Yeah, this indeed looks very dangerous. f5 is a move you don't want to make, but what can you do against the threat? Knight e4. And here Reinke made a mistake and took on b4 when the bishop could take back, and then black is relatively free again. But taking the bishop, then white additionally has the bishop pair, and all his pieces have dangerous prospects and inroads, and the computer gives white an advantage here even. So this line is definitely interesting. Study the article by Markus Reinke, but of course black has other ways to answer the Sicilian wing gambit as well. The next article deals with the dangerous Max Langer attack by Robert Riss. It's very old. This, by the way, is the game Marshall Tarash, Hamburg 1910, and it's still considered critical. So, yeah, chess indeed has an amazingly rich history. There are many ways to reach the Max Lange, and here one problem might be that black can play knight takes e4, of course. But okay, I had for the main line of the Max Lange attack, and here white can take on g7 or rook e1 check, but risk considers this slightly more critical. And then his main line follows the game. Yeah, and indeed, white's initiative is dangerous. Yeah, fascinating positions with, for over 100 years, has fascinated many analysts and players. And indeed, modern computers seem to confirm that white is better here, and black should opt for rook d7, when it might be possible to draw a correspondence game, but over the board this of course is extremely unpleasant, and so the Max Lange attack is still dangerous after all those years. And finally, Lars Schandorf looks at the London system, which has brought Magnus Carlsen impressive victories recently. The usual move order is of course like this, and this is a typical bishop move of the London system, and then you put them like this, and this is a system like opening, suitable for amateurs with only a limited number of motives. Of course, the usual move order points, but principally not so difficult. Yeah, not your everyday poison pawn Sicilian, it's more easier. But it contains also some poison. Okay, in the game Carlsen Tymaszewski from the Weigernsee tournament 2016, there was a different move order, and we only reached the positions from the London system after the 9th move, but okay. It could also arise via the London system and probably many other move orders. Yeah, white plays the system-like moves. Now we have it. And there comes still interesting moments. What to do? Magnus just ignores this. Okay, if he takes there, then black will have long-term problems with the bishop b7 in several lines. And this is also highlighted in the game, because now Magnus exchanges pieces to purify the position. And then we have this typical configuration of white's two knights against knight and bishop. And g5 maybe was too optimistic, because white can use it in a direct way. So the London system is maybe more dangerous than it looks at first sight, and Lars Schandorf has written a survey on it. And yeah, if you need a weapon for white, a systematic weapon, then it comes into consideration, of course. In the move-by-move column, Simon Williams looks at the game So Akopian from the Championship of the United States. It was a French Rubinstein. In the endgame column, I look at pawn endings. They are often more tricky than they look, despite the limited number of men on the board. So study the motives carefully. In the strategy column, Michael Marin looks at the strengths of the kingside majority. Yeah, and there are different tastes among the chess players. Some like to play with a kingside majority, against 4 against 3 or 3 against 2, like in Fischer-Ronziker. And some like to play with a queenside majority. And Marin looks at the advantages which a kingside majority brings. Of course, the majority can create a pass pawn, but it can also help in the king attack to provide additional attackers. And in a way, both issues play a role here, and of course they can also help to build a space advantage. How did Fischer continue? Queen f4, very strong. This stops the counterplay, which also is important, and makes it possible to mobilize white's pawns after preparation, or just to keep the position and to invade maybe with the pieces. g6 might be a square for the knight later, for example. So I always like it how Michael Marin manages to connect the past with the present. Study his strategy, Callum. Next in line is Oliver Ray, who this time in the tactics column looks at original solutions, like in Avondel Young, Abhijit Gupta from the Reykjavik Open 2016, black to move and win. At first sight it looks not too easy. The rook h5 is hanging and queen a1 check is met by knight b1, and so there's no direct win, but an original. Rook c8, very strong. Now white can of course not take, but yeah, this is only one of the points. And yeah, this pin and this vis-a-vis is very annoying, and so Liang tried rook g6 check, but this loses as well, but all moves lose. So a very creative original solution, and find more of these solutions in the exercises on the DVD. Last not least, there again is a TD Chess database with 20,000 correspondence games and Rainer Knag's opening trap. He has selected a few examples, and I have selected Nadev Koksar from the Skopje tournament 2016. Again, this can arise via several move uris, and the question is what to play with black now, how not to fall into the trap, and why is bishop e7 not so good, what about knight gf6, what about h6, so review those moves and then find a playable move. And now I wish you a lot of fun with Chess Magazine 172.